Good morning, everyone. I hope everyone's having a great day and wonderful week. Or will have a wonderful week. Um, just decided to upload a housekeeping video as well as respond to some things, so a couple of questions that I received from students about the course. And one of the things I want to do is, since we're still at the, earlier start of the course, we're really trying to get our groove. We're trying to find our rhythm as a classroom. There are just some important things I want you to, be aware of and reinforce, particularly as we've had some students enter into the class in week 2 and week 3. At some point, students will stop trickling in, but usually at the start of class, everyone is not starting on the same day. Sometimes students are coming a couple days later. I mean, a couple weeks later, even. Um, Please make sure, again, I just want to remind students how important it is to play catch up. And one way to do that is check your announcements. If you notice, you can see all the announcements that are posted for the class. And you can go backwards into Blackboard weeks and look at all of the content and play, and play catch up with reading assignments. Everything is listed. There's also a syllabus, right? And so in that syllabus, you can see what's going on and what it is the topics that we're covering for any given week, presently, past, and you can actually look forward using the syllabus to see what weeks will be opening up soon in Blackboard. And if you want to get ahead or jump ahead of the readings, you can do that as well. Okay. So your syllabus is really your guide. Sometimes you'll find more content that's actually in the Blackboard week than is actually in the syllabus. But for the most part, the Blackboard weeks resemble the syllabus. It's easy to manipulate it on Blackboard, and it's easy to add things like web links and videos and so forth on Blackboard, as well as the additional readings as well. As I stated last week, this is a reading intensive course. This is a very heavy reading and writing intensive course. We actually hit the ground running in this course from day one. And it is why a lot of the textbooks for the course were uploaded um, 2 weeks before the course opened, actually started. I submitted and I sent email out to students, giving them the textbook information so that they can be prepared the day of class. I also included readings, additional readings, if you see, that are actual required readings in Blackboard in week 1 and week 2. This is to give students who did not have the textbook or who couldn't get the textbook in advance the opportunity to answer the discussion boards using required readings that are there. If students decided just to use the required textbooks readings to do the discussion board, that is perfectly fine. If students wanted to use the readings I uploaded to do it, that's fine as well. You're not limited to whatever readings you want to use, okay? Students have even asked if they can go back and use another reading from a week before to answer the discussion board, particularly if they felt like that reading helped them discuss the content or respond to the prompt. And I'm perfectly fine with that too. Usually the prompts are specific and they ask about topics and subject matter covering the content of that week. And so as long as you're responding appropriately to the discussion board, you're actually replying to what is asked, I'm okay with you using readings from other weeks in order to do that. And so that is very important, that you all need to know that as well. I'm going to I normally open the classrooms on Monday just to keep students focused and they know what week we're on, because students get confused, especially when things get very busy. Same thing with the discussion board prompt. It closes when the discussion board is done. The reason why it closes is because we have firm due dates here. And if you look at the syllabus or look at the videos, I'm just going to reiterate, there are no late assignments for this course, and I'll explain the rationale behind that in a minute. But the discussion boards will close. One of the reasons why the discussion boards close is to meet the expectations for all students, which is we're not allowing for late assignments. So it closes, so you cannot submit. That is intentionally. I do not accept email assignments for this course. Again, that we also stated that at the beginning of the course as well, and there's plenty of reason for that. Think about an instructor teaching about 2 to 3 courses, assignments about 10 pages, 10 to 15 pages long. You're looking at about 60 students that can be potentially sending you email assignments. That is not a good way to verify uploads and receipts. Things are lost in emails all the time. And so that's not a good way just to send assignments. Your work should not be sent in an email. Because again, sometimes I may miss emails and then you won't get credit for the assignment. Blackboard serves as a couple of functions for us. Blackboard actually time date stamps your upload, your submission. That covers you. That way, if an instructor says they never received the assignment, you have confirmation on your end on Blackboard that it was uploaded on Blackboard, which is where it needs to be. It also has to be ran through Safe Assign oftentimes, and so that cannot happen unless the assignment is uploaded on Blackboard. That's another reason why I do not accept them assignments, particularly for grading via Blackboard, via email. It has to be on Blackboard. The other reason is I grade directly off the rubric, right? The rubric is uploaded to Blackboard so you all can see the rubric, but then I go in and I'm actually assessing points from the rubric and it's applied to your paper. It is then averaged into your grade book, and that functionality has to occur in Blackboard. And that is why I'm very clear at the start of course, please do not email me assignments to be graded. Now, I also want to talk a little bit about the other strong recommendations that I made at the start of the course. And one of them was to start your assignments early and upload them early. I will reinforce this now again in this video. You'll have discussion boards due every week. There will always be, the first post will be due on Thursday. The reply post will be due on Sunday. Okay. Thursday, Sunday. Just because that is the time you have to upload, that's the deadline to do it. You do not have to wait to the deadline. You can upload your original post on Monday. You can upload your original post on Tuesday. You can upload your original post on Wednesday. I strongly encourage you to do that. I strongly recommend that students do not wait till the day of to upload, because Blackboard is glitchy. Blackboard is glitchy. Things happen. Technology is glitchy. I've been teaching for a long time, and I can tell you whatever can happen will happen the day that the assignment is due. Your computer will crash. You'll spill something on it. Your cord will blow out. The Blackboard will be on doing a repair, an update, an upgrade. And yes, those are realities of technology in the IT world. That does not absolve you from the assignment. That's why it's important that you upload them as soon as possible and complete your assignments before they are due. That way, if any problems occur, hopefully you'll either have your work in before that glitch happens, which is a lot of times they're unforeseeable, and hopefully you'll have it there so that you will never be caught up in not having your assignment done on time. Now, there are situations where, there are just major tech issues going on Blackboard. And in the past, I've had students notify me of challenges in advance to get permission to submit late. Not after the submission has closed are they emailing me saying, can you open up the link? What they're telling me is I had a problem with my computer in advance before, and I do not think I'm going to get the assignment in on time. Under those circumstances, I request documentation of the problem. This is important because any student can submit any assignment late and say they've always had a problem. In a course where lateness is not accepted in terms of papers, that can be a problem. And so there are reasons students get sick. And when they get sick, I've had students that they became ill and had to go to the hospital or had to go see a doctor. Not only did they verify this or they let me know, but they also sent documentation saying that they were ill from the doctor's office. With proper documentation, you can get permission to submit an assignment late. And I take that on a case-by-case situation. All requests are not granted in terms of lateness for assignments. But here's the thing that you really need to know. If an assignment needs to be submitted late, right, because of extenuating circumstances, and the key word is extenuating, you need to notify your instructors before the due date so that you let them know that this may be a possibility. Now, there has been times where students have submitted assignments via email, not for grading, not for submission, but just to say, hey, just so that you know the assignment is done, but I'm having an issue and I would like to have permission to open up the assignment. Because remember, once the deadline passed, the assignment is closed because students aren't allowed to upload after that. So what you're doing is getting permission before the deadline to have the assignment reopened to get it uploaded. And so if you're trying to send the email to timestamp that, look, I want to show you, professor, that the assignment is indeed complete, but I'm having an issue. Now, as stated at the start of the class, it's important also to get help desk involved as soon as possible. This is your documentation, because I do follow up on the help desk ticket. So if student is having a problem with Blackboard, or they're having an issue with access or having particular issues, whether it's registrar, sometimes it's because there are bills and fees that are not paid that they can't get access. Rather than emailing me about the issue, I need to know about it in advance with documentation, verification of the specific issue. Now, that might be a help desk, that may be an email from the registrar stating that you're having these problems. Because again, this is the documentation that you need to submit to verify that the problem that you're having is indeed happening. And oftentimes I'm calling the help desk right behind you for two reasons: to verify that the issue is going on and that the ticket was submitted in a timely manner, meaning before the deadline or due date for an assignment. And then I'm actually calling that help desk regularly and consistently so that I can help them, ask them to expedite your request. I have found that in the past that when professors call the help desk and request that they expedite it, sometimes that helps them move the ticket along more quickly, especially when you have pending assignments. So again, if you think that you're having problems, the first thing that you need to do, and it's very important, is to submit a help desk ticket as soon as possible, not after the due date for an assignment, before the assignment is due, so that hopefully you can get it resolved in a timely manner so you can submit it on time. That's number one. Number two, you email me in advance letting me know what is going on. I appreciate those heads up, and I need verification of the help desk ticket so that I can follow up on it and request that they, one, expedite it, and two, make sure that the request was put in before the due date for the assignment. Why this procedure? Because this is a graduate level program, and in a graduate level program we have expectations, higher expectations than undergrad, as it relates to timeliness of assignments. We are preparing you to be professionals in the field, and so timeliness is key to this. In addition, there are some students that will be moving forward into doctoral programs, and again, the bar is raised even higher in doctoral studies in terms of assignment expectations, not only the quality of the work, but there are no redos, there are no resubmissions, there are no latenesses there either. And so we're stepping you up, preparing you to be professionals. That is why the discussion board closes, right? And so, and in reality, you know, as a professional, someone who's been working as a seasoned professional in the field, to be quite honest with you, IT problems do not give you an out at work either. If a report has to be submitted and it's due, if you have to have a report in for a funder for funding purposes, if that report isn't in, you can potentially lose your funding. Okay? This is big. If you reach out to a funder and said that your Blackboard or your functioning, your IT lapse, they're not going to allow you to submit it after the due date. You lost the funding. There's no going backwards on that. In a court process, if you have to submit court documentation to a judge for purposes of child welfare, foster care, that court date is going to occur whether you submit that documentation or not. When we're helping our clients in terms of helping them access services and resources, particularly Medicaid, particularly SNAP benefits, usually if they're asking for your application, if they're asking for documentation and verification to be submitted by a certain date, and that is not done, the application is voided and clients have to start all over. And that can be huge if a client doesn't have electricity, food, and water. So timeliness of documentation is very important in our line of work. And so we're just not teaching you here for a class, we're preparing you to be professionals. So to be quite honest with you, even though many students may feel that it's unfair, that if they have legitimate technical issues, that rules related to lateness should not apply, that is preparing students not to be successful in the real world, because that's not the case. Now, you may have a boss that allows you to submit some things late and given good reasons, yes. But usually as professionals, the work has to be done whether you can submit it in or not. So even if you were to get sick, right, and you had a big funding proposal that you had to submit, or renew of a funding proposal, if you're sick and in the hospital and you can't submit it, then your job is to make sure you talk to your boss or a colleague and have your colleague submit that report, because the deadline is not going to change whether you get sick or not, whether you have IT problems or not. And so you have to at least professionally figure out a way to get the work done and submit it, even though you may have a legitimate reason why. And so I say that to you because I do understand that we do have technical issues all the time, at Howard University particularly, but all institutions, all colleges, all professional organizations, right? And so we need to start thinking about how to get our work done, knowing that these glitches occur, and not allowing the glitches to compromise your ability to get the work done. So in that aspect is why I strongly recommend students to submit their assignments well before the due date. That way you can stay ahead of the issues with Blackboard and glitches. Okay, you can still submit, still move on to the next assignment, and not have those worries, stress, and fears. So what I'm suggesting you here is to, plan in advance to get your assignments done. Plan in advance. Students know from the first day of class, the first day they're admitted in class, they know when all their due dates are. We have an assignment, assignment 1. You don't have to wait to the due date. Students can start working on assignment 1 right now, actually, right now. Again, you don't have to wait until the assignment due date. You can start weeks in advance, so that if you have a glitch, you have plenty of time to resolve it before. As this is a class that's very heavy in terms of reading and writing, it's important that you stay on top of your assignments. Again, it's very easy with all the readings for this course to get behind. And once you get behind, it's very hard to keep up. And so in order to keep students on track, on pace every week, we really don't allow for students to get but so far behind, because it's very hard to dig yourself out of the work, the volume of work that you'll have to catch up on. And it's more stressful than need be. So again, we try to keep you on the correct weeks as we go along, so that you don't get too far behind, because again, I can say with experience here, it's very hard to catch up. And so couple other things in terms of tips, synchronous as well as asynchronous, in person, however the teaching modality, there are just general tips to help you be the best student that you can be in all your courses. And I hope this video really gives you a better understanding of how graduate school works, what a graduate program looks like, and that the information that I'm sharing in this video does not just help benefit you for my class, but for your other classes as well. And so one question that I got from a student, which I thought was a really great question, was, how to be, what are some of the things I could do to be a better asynchronous learner? And if many of you had an opportunity to read the full article in the course content tab, learning your first job, it's why I uploaded it. It provides you with really good tips on how to stay on top of your work, how to bring your best self to being a student, and why those things are important. It really talks about whose job it is to learn and understand material. It really talks about the importance of studying, what studying should look like. It talks about time management and how people have the same hours, minutes and hours of the same day, but yet there are some some people who tend to get three, four things, four to times more stuff done in a given week than other people. And it's not because that person who gets more done has more time than anyone else. It just means how they approach their work, and how they prioritize and plan and meet their deadlines. That's what makes them successful. So please read that article in its entirety. And again, it's not just for my course. I think it will help you in your overall learning. Other things, make sure you check your announcements regularly, at least twice a week, so that you stay abreast of what's going on. And it helps you feel like, okay, I'm connected to a larger cohort of classmates, but also I'm connected with my professor. Okay. So again, make sure that you're reading your announcements at least, you're checking them at least twice a week. I can't stress enough, Blackboard can be difficult and glitchy, but it can also be your friend. So be a Blackboard master. Make sure you go in there and really customize those functions for your needs, those due dates for your assignments, notifications, whatever it is that you need to stay on top of things. Utilize Blackboard and customize those functions to meet your needs. Okay, that's important. But you don't have to just use Blackboard. You can use your phone. I have a calendar in mine. I have notifications that are constantly going off on my phone, to let me know, I have a meeting and things due. So, and if technology isn't your thing, get a actually a calendar, a book, where you can actually write in your schedule, whatever works for you. Please utilize it. It helps you stay on top of your work. Virtual office. It's not mandatory. It's important though. It's my way of offering you one-on-one real time conversations with me, because email is a good way to get in contact with me. It's not the only way. And I also find that sometimes things get lost in translation in emails and text messages. And so sometimes it's better just to have dialogue, because sometimes I'm emailing students and they're misunderstanding what I'm saying. And vice versa. I'm reading their emails and I'm misunderstanding what they're saying too. And so usually when that happens, I'll usually, email the student and say, send me your number, let's talk. When I feel like I'm not as clear or understanding what it is they mean, or I think they don't understand points that I'm trying to make for them. So again, email is a great way to get in contact with me. Please be mindful of when you're emailing me. You can email me at any time, but I will tend to respond during normal business hours. Monday, that is Monday through Friday if it's not a holiday. You can generally look for responses somewhere between 8 or 9 a.m. to 5, 6 p.m. Now, if I'm on my emails and it's after hours and you send something to me, more than happy to respond as soon as possible. But usually I'm not on the emails that during those hours, because I like to put some personal work boundaries there. So I'm usually spending time with family, focusing on self-care, etc., etc. So I try to reserve those hours just for work, so that I don't get burned out before the end of the semester. And I hope you take a page out of my book with that. Really have your times for class, work, and then set up that personal time for you. Whatever it is, if it's a day of the week, if it's the weekend, and carve out time where you're just taking care of yourself. You're catching up on your rest. You're spending time with your family. You're having fun. You're doing things that are important to you. Okay. And do not compromise that time. Really, that's your me time. Guard it, guard it, protect it, because that's what's going to be needed to get through a whole semester here, because it's a lot of work. So jumping into VO is very important. Again, not mandatory, but please come in and ask your question. I love to see students in VO. I love talking to students. Even if you don't have any questions, you can just stop in and say hi to get a sense of who I am, rather than always hearing my voice and seeing my face on the video. And also just give me some feedback too, because I do hear the questions that students have in VO, and I'll try to share those my answers to the larger class group if I feel like more students may have that same question, or if I feel like other students may get confused about the same content. I want to make sure everyone knows. Use your peer support groups. Use the class, right? And so one way to be very successful at Howard, whether it's an online program or not, or a virtual or whatever type of class you're taking, hybrid, using your group, your cohort. Always send emails out to one another. If you're in groups, use your group. Hey, did y'all understand the readings? Hey, is this your understanding of assignment? Hey, how are you going to approach that assignment? Even though you have to do your own work, right? When I'm suggesting that you use your peer support, I'm not saying have them do your work for you or have them, do, you know, I'm not talking about crossing lines. I'm talking about utilizing this shared information so that you all can feel comfortable that you are on the right path. Or you may find out if you have a question or you're unclear about it and you find out that your cohort is unclear, then you might say, you know what, this may garner an email or a call or whatever, or drop in with VO with Dr. Cross, because if y'all guys have the same confusion, she needs to know about it. So utilizing your peer group is how students become very successful here at Howard University. So please feel free to do this in this class, and I strongly encourage that you do that. Looking ahead at your assignments is important, especially for this class. Um, um, any graduate level class, you should be looking at when your assignments are due. This is how you're getting your points, especially your major assignments. There were about 25% of your grade up to sometime. So you should be looking ahead, right? And you should be looking at that assignment thoroughly and acting as if you're about to write it, and make sure you don't have any questions. You should be using the VOs up until the assignment to ask me questions. Can't tell you how many times students wait until the week before, and day of, 2 days before, and start emailing me questions about assignments. That's perfectly fine. I'm going to answer the questions, right? I may not be available the night of the assignment is due or the night before. Remember, I asked students to give me about 2 business days to respond. I'm pretty good about responding quickly, but it can take up to 2 business days depending on what other things I have going on. But if you ask me a question or send me an email the day before and I need 2 business days to respond, you may not get your answer the day that by the night that the assignment is due if you wait till the last minute. So one thing that you need to be very successful, not just in my class but other classes, is look ahead of those assignments. You should be coming into VO now saying, I have a question about this part of the assignment. Whether you started writing the assignment or not, look ahead. You should be starting to write these assignments early. These assignments, I can say this 100 times. Please, please, please don't wait till the last minute. The assignments for your courses, particularly this course, is not set up where you can wait till the last minute. They're big, large, comprehensive assignments that need to be tackled piece by piece. Because of that, you will not do well if you wait till the last minute on these assignments. Start working on them now, and then if you come into a part or a section that you're unclear about, please come into VO, ask me about it, and we talk about it. And I love it when students ask me questions in advance, because I know they're going to be prepared and they're going to do what they need to do for the assignment. So please, these assignments cannot be done at the last minute. They have to be started very early and worked on very slowly. Those are what students do that are very successful in their coursework. So then you drop into VO with your questions for your assignments, okay? Those are the things that I think is very important to be successful in this course. And I just really wanted to go over those not just housekeeping and expectations, but again, help you get acclimated and see the rationale that the thought that goes into structuring your content for learning, and the thought and strategy and the purposefulness of how we go about trying to prepare you for the professional world, and hopefully one day doctoral studies. And so please understand that the course is not designed to make your life harder or to make things difficult or stressful for you. It's really set up not for that purpose at all, but to prepare you for the professional world and the expectations that you're going to have as a professional social worker. So I hope that's helpful. Again, that was just my housekeeping video for this week, and just things that I think will be helpful that you all need to know, and things I know I may sound like a broken record, but I want to reinforce it so that you all can be successful. I hope this video helps, and can't wait to see y'all soon, hopefully in the next virtual office.